has made history after becoming Northern Ireland's first Black mayor and only the third on the island of Ireland. She was installed as mayor of Derry City and Strabane at a special council meeting on Monday evening, and she joins us live from the United Kingdom after this history-making moment. Thank you so much for joining us, Lady Mayor Lillian Senoy-Barr. It's a pleasure to have you with us here on Friday night.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
We would like to begin this conversation by retracing your footsteps back to Narok County. Share with us that journey, life growing up in the village. Take us back there and tell us where all this started.
Well, I was born in Narok Town, obviously, and my childhood was a very joyful childhood, and I was largely raised by my auntie Nebaba in a small village called Olombogishi, where typically my life was about milking cows, looking after our livestock, and engaging in household chores and playing with friends and siblings, what you do when you are young. Mm-hmm. And then I attended Olombogishi Primary School until primary 4. Then I moved to Narok Town to join my mother and continued with my primary school education at St. Peter's Primary School. And I later joined Oletipis High School. So as a student, I was deeply conscious of gender rights, and my parents did bring us up to respect ourselves and be independent, work hard, love your freedom, and the values of social justice really began from home. So I typically had a really good, joyful life growing up.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lady Mayor, you grew up in a community where, to date, we have sections that still practice female genital mutilation, early marriages, in terms of the girl child as well. Why are you involved during your life back in Narok County in sensitizing the community around issues to do with these particular practices?
Yeah, that's actually where my activism began. I learned very quickly why we were removed from Olombogishi to join my parents in Narok. Initially, I didn't understand that that was a form of protection, really, from the peer pressure, you get when you are younger. I'm sure your audience will have a clear understanding of our Maasai tradition. While I am absolutely proud to be a Maasai girl, and I absolutely love my culture, which I have showcased the positive side of it, even here in Northern Ireland, that culture has some negative practices, which you have alluded there, marrying young girls at the age of 12 and circumcisions. And my brother, Senator Ledama, I know you're going to ask me about it, so I better just put it out there.
Actually, yes. Now that you've thrown that in, during your AGM, we spotted Narok Senator Ledama Kina there. What are your relations with the senator?
Yeah, he's my blood brother and one of my inspiration, if I may say, in terms of having those values of gender equality and women's rights. Whenever Ledama was in America, he worked tirelessly to support the Maasai girl child. And I have to say, he paid part of my school fees also when I was growing up, because he really values education, and particularly for women. The Maasai community, while we girls are circumcised and married off, I think we also values the role of women in the community. And it began with my whole family. I have five sisters. I'm the sixth one. And we were all taught and respected by all our brothers to be very independent, be free, and express yourself and be someone who can fight for your own rights.
And now moving to the United Kingdom, what inspired that decision to move from Kenya to the UK?
Yeah. When I was working, it wasn't an easy job. This work was fraught with danger and On occasion, I was faced by a group of men, obviously within our tradition, who were determined to safeguard and protect the culture so that it can be the way it is. And I remember an occasion where we had visitors who had come to support our work. And these were journalists from a place called Cork in Ireland and Derry, where I now live. Mm-hmm. And they were supporting our work and donating money to educate those girls. And we received a call to go and rescue some girls in the villages. And that was the beginning of my journey to coming here, because it was quite a dangerous experience that we had. And I don't know if you know of this. I've been speaking a lot about it. I have a little boy, Brian. It's Brian Ledama. Yeah. And Brian is autistic, severely autistic with learning disability. And I had to make the most difficult decision to protect myself and him, to give him a better life. And I moved and I came to Northern Ireland, really inspired by the people who witnessed the difficulties I was going through with the work that I was doing and the dangers associated to it, and wanted to ensure that I was safe and my little boy had a mom who will look after him.
Now, you were given refugee status. Let's get into that.
I think when I came here and I was asked why you're leaving, people need to understand that in the UK, there are different immigration status, and you will be awarded an immigration status based on your reasons to leave the country. So I was basically leaving Kenya because I wanted to safeguard my son and myself and to protect ourselves from the dangers associated too. So that was the advice that was given at that time, that you need to seek asylum based on the story that is making you leave Kenya. And that's why I was granted with evidence to showcase that my life and my son's life were going to be in danger.
In your acceptance speech on Monday, Lady Mayor, you spoke about your appointment eliciting certain reactions from certain sections, and you spoke about anti-immigrant sentiments and intense abuse, the issues that immigrants face as a community. Yeah. What are your plans around the betterment of immigrants?
I've lived in Northern Ireland for 14 years, so I have a clear understanding. And what really inspired me to establish the Northwest Migrants Forum, an organization that supports a wider group of migrants, not just Black people, but all immigrants and who come to make a life here in Northern Ireland. And most of the challenges that we face is called racism or hate-related crimes. And this is inspired by prejudice of people who may not necessarily like to see progress or to see Black people or other people coming to this country. And recently, we have seen a lot of anti-immigrant sentiments, which are also inspired by inaction of politicians across the world, really, not just in Northern Ireland. And there's a lot coming from America also. And that has brought some unique challenges in Northern Ireland, where if you look different, you are not welcome. And I must say, this is not from my city, because if I wasn't welcome, I wouldn't be elected in the first place. And that's why I emphasized on my speech that this does not reflect the majority of people of Derry and Strabane district, people who have taken me into their hearts. So it's a challenging time for people who look different, but we are determined to create an inclusive society and to continue with the progress that we have put in place here.
Away from the immigrants, Lady Mayor, there are diverse communities in Northern Ireland. So what opportunities does this role present for you in terms of fostering inclusivity and integration for the entire community? You've been quoted as saying you will be a mayor for all.
Absolutely. And I stand by those words, because I want to project the positive of Northern Ireland. I'm not sure, again, how many people know how Northern Ireland is. It's predominantly 2 communities and 2 tribes, and those tribes are divided into Irish, British, Protestant, and nationalist, and Catholics. The rest of us are called other. And that is, in Northern Ireland terms, is called sectarianism, which is embedded in all our legislations here. One of that makes things of minoritized communities, of Black people, overlooked at most occasion. So my appointment to be mayor and the first citizen of the city, it's not lost on me what it means to the whole of society. It signifies progress. It shows that Northern Ireland is becoming a more global country rather than an insular community where it is just about the orange and green. And when I mean orange and green, those are terminologies that are used here to identify 2 different traditions. And I know that my appointment, talking to people, they have hope that the North of Ireland has progressed, and it's becoming more inclusive, and it inspires investment, because it is easy for people to realize that if you live in a troubled society where there is no political stability or there is no economic growth, investors don't want to come in. But once we show that we are a united community, one that is inclusive, one that respects diversity, then we will be able to attract investors to come in.
When you look at issues that bedevil, the particular space that will be under your governance, so to speak, what are your priority areas?
I want to see a different Derry City and Strabane district, one that is inclusive, one that focuses on economic growth, and one that focuses on our young people's skills development. Here in Derry, we have a legacy of troubles, and that trauma and people needs to heal. At the same time, I feel like since I lived here, politicians have neglected my city and district, and I want to ensure that there is a real focus on economic growth for our city, and also to inspire our young people to stay within the city. We lose a lot migrating to go to other countries, and we're losing the next generation of leaders in the North of Ireland, and this is now my home, and I want to see it succeed, and I want to inspire those young people to be able to sit here and stay here, have good quality jobs, that they can be paid well, and to feel that they can make a good, decent living here at home. And that means having good quality homes. It means having good quality jobs. It means having a safe environment you can bring your children up, a good education, and a good healthcare service. And that will be my focus.
You spoke about your son. Share with us about family and the role that your family has played, your immediate family, right there where you are in Northern Ireland, in shaping who you are today.
Yeah, I have a wonderful husband and a great family of 4. My husband has 3 siblings, and he actually has children from a different marriage. He was divorced, and all the children and my family here are absolutely supportive of the work that I do. So my little Brian, who is autistic, has a lot of carers within the family, which really helps when I do my work. For a lot of immigrants, I think they would envy the life I have, having a very supportive family, because one of the challenges for immigrants is that if you don't have immediate family, you would really struggle to go to work, let alone being a first citizen. But I have enormous support from my family here, and my husband has been my rock. He literally runs the show at home when I run the city.
Yeah, wow. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Lady Mayor. As we close, wasalimia wa Kenya, wasalimia wa Masai Inma, as we close this interview.
Nashukuru sana, mjambo wote, asanteni sana kwa support, and asuba wogenir Masai, I will continue supporting you as I am here. Although I am a Derry girl, I am still a Masai.
Many thanks for speaking to us on Friday night. Lady Mayor Lillian Senoe Barr speaking to us after making history and being elected the first Mayor of Northern Ireland's Derry and Strabane. This is big news here in the country and worldwide as well, and we are glad she made time.